On this video, I'm going to show how to replace these stock rubber hoses for these Samco silicone hoses. This is my Beta 390 RRS, the street version, and apparently the stock hoses, the Beta actually I guess runs kind of hot. And with the silicone Samco hoses, they actually cool down the bike, lets you run the bike a little cooler. That's just based on what I've read on forums and postings and whatnot. So first order of business is draining the coolant. And to do that, you need to remove this engine guard. And to do that, it's these two bolts got to get removed, and those are 8mm bolts. Okay, so I removed the two bolts from the front of the case. Now I got to remove this one as well in the back. There's one bolt in the back. Okay, so now it's time to drain the coolant, but before you drain the coolant, you're going to make sure your bike is cold. You can't do this when your bike is hot. So next step is to remove this cap. And then this drain bolt right here, there's a copper washer that you're going to reuse. Okay, and so the coolant's going to be coming out here. Alright, so now I'm going to remove the drain plug. It's going to be an 8mm socket. Make sure you have your pan ready to catch it, and you might want to wear gloves, and be careful of the splash. So now that I've drained the coolant, I've shaken the bike back and forth to get all the coolant out. Now it's time to plug in the drain bolt. Make sure you include the copper washer with that. Alright, so this coolant drain bolt, I tighten it to 10 Nm. So now it's time to put the engine cover plate back on by screwing the two bolts in the front and one in the back with the 8mm socket. Alright, so now I'm going to remove the hoses. Before you move the hoses, you have to remove the gas tank for easy access. If you don't know how to remove the gas tank, refer to my other video on how to remove the gas tank. So it's going to be a 7mm socket wrench or a Phillips screwdriver to remove these screws. This looks like an H, I guess. Well, this is basically the thermostat that everybody wants to get rid of because it's messing up the bike. And then this is the temperature sensor. Okay. This temperature sensor communicates with the Voyager system, and if your bike doesn't have the Voyager system, then you probably don't have this. So this thermostat can be removed, and you just gotta remove these clamps, these one-time use clamps, pry them open or use snippers or whatever it is. But yeah, we're going to need to use this temperature sensor. Everything else is gone. And to remove the hose from the radiator, I just used a thin flat head, and I carefully just pried the hoses outward so they can be removed easier. So it's now time to remove these two screws. This is the one down below. And you're not going to need this centerpiece either, because the Samco silicone hose is all one piece, so you don't need this connector. Alright, so now it's time to install the Samco Sport silicone hoses. Lifetime warranty. Wonder if we actually keep our bikes that long. Anyway, time to install them. So this is what it comes with the package. And this is if you want to eliminate the thermostat. Samco also sells one that allows you to retain the thermostat if you so choose. You have to probably order from them directly, because I don't think Beta website carries that one, since everybody wants to eliminate the thermostat. And it comes with this little doodad. Help you flip pages easier. I guess I'll figure out where this goes. Okay, so you're going to notice this hose is cut for that temperature sensor. So that means we're going to need to cut this hose approximately this size. We're going to take a slit right here, and that way we can fit the temperature sensor in there. So I measured this temperature sensor, and the distance between these 2 points for mine is about 2.5 centimeters. So I'm going to be cutting here and here on this Samco hose so it can fit. Okay, so I just measured it from there, and that should be giving me plenty of space. There. Okay. So just make sure you measure multiple times. These are expensive hoses. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and install this bottom piece. It's going to fit like so. Okay, I finished installing the bottom section, which is like the Y-shaped here, and then the lower end of the two radiators that has a big spout at the bottom. This one was a pain in the ass to install. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine a guy's hands going in here. Anyway, you might have to remove this pipe section. I didn't. I just kind of weaseled it in and pushed it in and pulled and whatever. Anyway, it was a pain. These two were easy to put in. So now I'm going to install this one that kind of looks like it's the top section. It was the one that looks like an H, but now that we're taking off the thermostat, it's going to be this top section that goes on the top spouts, and then I'm going to cut this piece off to fit the temperature sensor in between. So what I recommend is install this section first before you install these two sections. That way you can maneuver this around more. So I've put in the temperature sensor, clamped it up. Don't clamp them too hard, especially if you're using these types of clamps. Try to avoid these. I was looking for some better clamps, but couldn't find any locally. So I'm going to plug this in right here, and then weave this through and plug this in, and then plug into this top spout. Okay, so I finished installing the top piece. Goes all the way down, thermostat, all the way down to this connection right here. Now, this is what's left, and that's what this is for. So I'm going to close this up with this and clamp it in. Alright, installed a little stubby. Done. So now it's time to fill this puppy up. Fill the coolant around here. Make sure you unscrew this first. It's like the breathing screw or whatever. And then make sure you're level, shake it, tilt it back and forth, squeeze the tubes a little bit, let the air out, and there you go. Alright, so this is what's left from the project that you can save for safekeeping. This is the thermostat that everybody gets rid of, but I mean, you can keep it in case you want it in the future. And this is the bottom piece, and this is what was cut from the top section of the hose to accommodate the temperature sensor. Okay, and that's it. Filled up the coolant. Filled up about 35 ounces. Manual calls for about over 43 ounces, 1.3 liters, but I drained out probably about 35 ounces, so I'm okay with that. I'll just double check the bike a little later, see if the coolant lowered. There you go, the finishing touches. Doesn't that look nice? Beautiful.